What's up, everybody? My name is Justin Hadlock, owner of the Murder Art Collective and the Murder Mentality, respectively. That's my tattoo studio and my online coaching and public speaking business. Today, I'm going to talk to you about probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever been through in my life, and it's something that all of us are going to go through in some way, shape, or form or another. And let's get into it. And that's how to survive the death of a loved one. In this case, it's specifically how to survive the death of a significant other. So I'm gonna give you some backstory here. I'm an ex-drug addict. I used for a very long time, 20 plus years. I got clean, met a very wonderful woman, proposed to her. We owned a business together. We were doing really well out in Morgan County, Kentucky, rural Kentucky, mind you, but we were crushing it in the tattoo scene, had people coming from all over the place to get tattooed by us. But unfortunately, as the success went along, I believe that, she self-sabotaged and started using again. And I didn't really notice what was going on until, after tragedy had struck and she overdosed and died. And some extra backstory too, unfortunately in that process too, she broke it up with me, called off our engagement, kicked me out of my house. It was their family's, land, but we had purchased the house together. So I literally lost my house and my business in the process. And was totally destitute. When I talk about addiction and stuff like that, I think that you guys can understand coming from that perspective that I definitely have experience with it. And this all happened too within 2 weeks, and then she overdosed. And that was on March 2nd of 2021. Well, to say that I was broken is a understatement. I remember days that I woke up and I was literally weeping when I fell asleep. I was weeping as I woke up, not like woke up and started crying, actually crying and wailing, like weeping in my sleep. It was as traumatic of an experience as I've ever had, and I went through it clean. And with the help of God and some amazing people in my life, I made it through. That was 1 month before my 18-month mark, and here I am today. I celebrated 2 years and 6 months last week. To get into the meat and potatoes of it, man, there's a few things that we need to talk about right off the bat, man. You already know this. It's gonna be wretched, guys. It hurts my heart knowing that other people are currently going through this and are going to go through this. It's gonna be wretched. It's gonna feel like you don't know where land is and you're stuck in the middle of the ocean and waves are just hitting you and you feel like you're drowning in emotions. And here's the trick. You're gonna have to feel them. You can't avoid them. You can't drown them out with alcohol. You can't drown them out with drugs, meaningless sex. You can't drown them out with working so much that you don't think about it. You're gonna have to sit down and you're gonna have to think about it. And you're gonna feel like you're a burden to your friends and your family because you're gonna feel like when you talk about it, you make them depressed and all of that stuff and that it's so hard. But the reality is that actually shows strength. Those people that love you are gonna respect you so much for coming through that and continuing to share your story. And when you lose that loved one, that person that was so important to you, you're gonna make it into purpose after that. You're gonna choose to share your story. You're going to choose to make that story that you're going through, that life that you're going through, that life that you lost mean something by bringing a better life to the world. And that's your life, bringing the best version of you to the table. And that means that best version of you is authentic and vulnerable. And that version is going to admit when it feels like it can't keep going on. It's going to admit and call their friends like I did that one day when I said, I don't feel like using, but I'm afraid I might hurt myself. I'm so destitute emotionally. I'm just so destroyed. Those people, if they're the right people around you, are going to help lift you up. And if they're not, then you need to find them. And as you hopefully will realize and come to realize through this process, somebody told me one time, they said, Justin, when you survive this and you do it clean, you don't hurt yourself. One day this story is going to be the most unimaginable source of power and strength for somebody else. Just like it is for you when you hear other people who have been through it and who made it through it. And I'm not telling you that there's not days that I miss Cassie dearly. I'm not telling you that there's not days when, despite the fact that I have this amazing woman in my life right now who actually experienced a loss of her significant other and the father of her children through murder, that we made a massive connection on, that we don't both still miss those people. We don't both still miss Cassie and Chris. But what we don't do is sit in that bathtub full of that sorrow and pain and just soak in it. So I'm asking for you today, if you are going through that, to take it as a source of strength and realize that God is on your side and that this can become your testimony. Your test, your difficulty, your like season of struggle will become your testimony, but you have to survive it to do it. And so I'm asking you today to take this pain and make it your purpose. When you're lonely, go find somebody who's lonely and keep them company. When you feel alone, go be with somebody else who also needs that. Whatever you give away, you possess to a greater degree. So give all of your love back to the world. Give all of that love, that grief that is literally love that doesn't have a place to land, to the world. And most importantly, I just want you to understand that you're not alone. And if you do those things, if you work at really just getting out there, you will survive this, I promise you. Love you guys. If you need help or want to talk about anything, I promise you, just reach out to me. I will talk back.